So what do you do when you show up at the river and it looks like this? I can't even see my ankles in the water. Well, you don't go home, that's for sure. If you're me anyways, you go fishing. Now, if this condition is temporary, say a clay bank spilled into the river further up and it's just dirtied it up for a while, well, that may cause the fish to sulk and go down to the bottom and not feed for a while because they don't like rapid change. If, however, this is a condition that's going to last for a while, which more than likely it is, if it's going to last for a couple of days due to rainfall or something like that, then the fish have to adapt to the situation if they want to feed. And if we as anglers want to catch those fish, then we have to adapt to that situation as well. So what does that mean for us as anglers? Well, I find in conditions like this, fish go to two different types of spots. First, if it's a prime lie, and when I say a prime lie, I mean that's a spot where fish in good water, bad water, they're going to be in that spot no matter what because it has food, gives them shelter from predators, gives them a good break from the current. It's a perfect spot for a fish to sit, which is why we call it a prime lie. Well, fish are still going to gravitate to those prime lies. The only problem is those prime lies are fewer and far between when the water goes like this. And similarly, those prime lies can sometimes be under 6 feet of water and 100 feet out from the bank where you can't get at them. And you can't get your fly down to the fish either down there. So those prime lies can sometimes be very, very difficult to get at. You might be able to fish them if you can get at them by going down to a finer tippet, nymphing, going with a heavier fly and maybe a bigger fly, so you can get those fish to see and grab the pattern. For the most part though, the factors you have to consider in dirty water are fairly similar actually to what you would have to consider in clear water. Fish need to first be able to see your fly, then they have to be able to grab it. If you're casting into an area where the fish are not and nothing sees your fly, you're not going to catch anything. If you're casting into an area where the water is too dirty and the fish can't see it and your fly's moving too fast because of the current, you're probably not going to get anything either. So what you have to look for is water conditions for those fish that have been pushed out of the prime lies, because there's not a lot of prime lies to go around, and find that kind of peripheral water where those smaller fish and sometimes still big fish, but maybe not the dominant fish, have moved to so that they can adapt to the situation as well. For them, they need to be able to see what they're eating and they need to have some comfort. So they're not going to be sitting in the fast water where they might be sitting under clear conditions. They may be pushed to the edges, like where I am, where there's still flow, it's still comfortable. They have protection from predators and above because the water is very colored and it's protecting them, and there may be food sources still here. They may be moving to the edges like this. They may also be moving into the shallow waters like what's around me here right now, because that allows light to penetrate deeper into the water. Fish sitting down 6 feet below the surface may not have enough light to really be able to feed as well as fish that are sitting in 6 inches of water. When light penetrates further down, that gets insects going, and it also allows the fish to be able to see their prey. So in the water like this right now, when it gets dirty, we're going to look for the shallow edges. We're going to look for the shallow riffles where light can still penetrate. We're going to look for the slower, slightly slacker water where the fish can actually have a chance to see your fly or see an insect and actually grab it before it gets swept away by the current. And we're going to use those principles to try and find some fish in this colored water conditions. There we go. Just hanging it on the bottom, completely. Just going to pull my line out of the water to move. Oh yeah. Nice fish. Get a quick picture of him. Beautiful. The visibility in this spot's about 3 inches maybe, and that fish was sitting right out in front of me. I didn't actually hook him on a drift, but as my fly was settling right on the bottom in the slack water, which is important to be aware of. If the water's too fast, you may not have a chance to see and grab your fly. we go. Oh, not a biggie, but still 10-inch fish. Better than no fish. That's 2 fish out of that same little area, right in the very, very slack water on the edge of the fast water. That's not a coincidence. It's because that's where the fish can get out of the current, and that's where their food coming in will get swirled in by the faster water, and it's going to settle here, and it's going to move slow enough that they can both see it and grab it. There's no point in fishing in a spot where the food is going to be moving too fast by them to see it in this dirty water when they only have a couple of inches of visibility. So you have to be patient and get the fly down to them. There we go. Oops, a little bit better one. So the fish are still here, even though the water has almost no visibility to it. And they're still obviously feeding quite heavily. Oh, nice one. Beauty. I think I'll take a quick picture of this one too before I get back to fishing. Now, I've only been fishing relatively smaller nymphs so far, size 14, size 16. High contrast nymphs. I'll show you a picture of it pretty shortly here. And that's been working well. Now I'm going to try and go to something a little bit bigger. I'm going to a vampire leech, Tadoshi pattern. I'm going to see going to a bigger fly if that is going to entice any bigger fish, or those fish that couldn't see that smaller fly or weren't interested in that smaller fly, see if they're going to go after the bigger one now. And it should be more visible to them. They should be able to find a little bit better. Hopefully it'll prove to get some bigger fish. It is just a size 14 streamer, so it's not extremely large. It's a micro streamer, I guess you would call it. But just the fact that it has a much more bushier body, longer tail, means it's probably about 5 times bigger or 6 times bigger than the actual nymphs I've been using. So that's substantial. Just working a really slack water along the edges still. Because the fish are not out in that fast water very well, or if they are, I can't access them. It's just too deep, too swift. And I just couldn't get down to those fish. Oop, there was a bite there, I believe. Sometimes it's tough to tell when you're fishing the dirty water and it's a bit shallower, because you're going to be hooking up on rocks every now and then. There we go. Oh yeah, hey, it's a nice fish. It was no more than 5 feet from me. To the net. Oh, beauty. Now, take a quick picture and get them back out into the water. All right, I just released that fish that I hooked on the vampire. The sun's now actually just come out a little bit brighter now. See if that makes a difference, if that helps the fish see things a bit better. So far, I think they like that bigger fly. It led to a bigger fish. Just still working. Water that's no more than knee deep, moving much, much slower, probably a quarter of the speed of the main current out there. And the water is probably knee deep or less to shin deep. And I'm just working no more than just 10 feet away from me. Now, even though I'm fishing close to me and in shallow water, I'm not concerned very much about stealth. I'm not going to go running through the water, but at the same time, there's so low visibility that it's really difficult for the fish to even see the fly. So I'm not as concerned about spooking the fish. There we go. Oh. One nice thing about hooking fish in shallow water too is they like to run. Even though the water's a little bit dirty, they do get kind of spooked a little bit quicker. Hey, come on, I want to stay within the camera range, please. There we go. All right. Oh, slide him into the net. Ooh, that's a nice whitefish. Beauty. Well, sometimes whitefish don't quite fight as hard, but sometimes they do as well. There's another one, just like that. Drop the fly in the water right in the shallows and bang. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Taking some line. That was like an accidental hookup, but I'll take it. The fly was just kind of sitting on the bottom out there while I was talking and getting ready to fish again. Whew. Playing with quite a bit of wind here right now, and it's blowing my fly line all over the place, which makes it really nice to have a semi-automatic reel. Just be able to pull it in. Oh, I think this guy is going well beyond the camera.
And so the chase began downstream. I ran over the rocks regaining line as trout pulled off the full fly line plus some 100 feet of backing before I was able to slow it down, divert it away from the heavy current, and back into the softer side water where I could really kind of manage it. The trout was quite tired after that run, as was I. I got pulled down about 150 feet beyond the video range, but landed the fish and was able to snap a couple of pictures before releasing it. Then I went back to the fishing.
Wow. What was I saying about streamers maybe catching bigger fish? The fish fighting extremely well in shallow water. That fish probably ran me all my fly line and then another 100 feet of my backing past that. No way I was able to bring that fish back up here towards the camera, but that was a very nice fight from a very nice trout. And hopefully the picture of it will turn out very well. Let's see if there's any more like that though. Again, that one was almost an accidental hooked fish where my fly was just sitting on the bottom while I was getting ready to make another cast.
Today we found that even though the river was high, moving swift and the color of a double coffee, there were numerous fish still to be found, and of course not another angler within miles. I fished numerous areas on the river, of which I only showed a couple in the video for the sake of time, and the fish were consistently in the shallows, close to the shore, where the current was much less, and the depth was shallow enough to provide some light penetration. This allowed me to make short, easy casts in areas where the fish had a better chance to see my flies, and a good chance to grab them before they were swept away by the current. I used flies that had a high contrast value, fluorescent orange offset by a black body, to help the fish find what I was throwing. And it worked. Next time you encounter high dirty water, look for the shallower riffles or the slower water that is under 3 feet deep, and use flies they can see. Give the fish time to find your flies, and hopefully you will have positive results. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to make sure you get to see the future episodes.